You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next, the April 27th meeting of the LaPorte County Redevelopment Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the LaPorte County Redevelopment Commission meeting for Wednesday, April 27th at 4 p.m. We're going to stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mary Jane.
Randy Novak,
Here.
Joe Core,
Here.
Rich Merzinski,
Here.
Terry Larson,
Here.
Scott Cooley,
Present.
Connie Grammarosa, Michael Rosenbaum,
Present.
Jan Ryberty.
Present.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of tonight's agenda.
So move.
Well,
With the following corrections,
Yep.
if I may add those in. Under the US 421 number 1, we'd like to add another invoice. Tiemens, T-I-E-M-E-N-S, land surveyors for surveying work, $1,005.
500.
1,500.
1,500, okay. Sorry, then I had it wrong. We'll get the new total afterwards. It's
Right.
280,751.22 for that group, and then the other is 286,832.15 is the total for all of it. Then under new business, we'd like to add the letter D, the KIP Rinker settlement. With that, I'll second. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Public comment. Public comment is now open. Anybody from the public? Anybody from the public? Public comment is now closed. Communications, Mary Jane.
Communications for the month, the auditor for the treasurer's report, regarding the easement payment documentation, discussed it with Mitch Bishop and the USI agreement as well with Mitch Bishop. We requested 5, 6, 7, 8 vendor numbers from the county auditor for the easement payments. There was an article in the paper about KIP and Alexander Chemical. D&M invoicing I received from Mitch. Team invoicing I received from Mitch. Sender Dalton reported that they entered the 2021 report into Gateway. Barnes and Thornburg submitted a public hearing notice, and then the confirmatory resolutions that you added to your agenda as 11D tonight. No, that's not 11D. Sorry about that. That's on your agenda tonight. Barnes and Thornburg invoices arrived to be on the May docket. Harold Argus claims and allowances were published. The RDC attorney distributed a Rinker KIP settlement update. I gave the minutes to Viviana to post on the website. And then the assessor's office sent you your first quarter tax appeals, but it does not appear that there were any tax appeals in any of our TIF districts for that first quarter. And then you received a membership for the Northwest Indiana Forum breakfast on, I think it's May 12th. So everyone's invited to attend if you would like. It's an hour. It's from 8:30 to 9:30.
You gonna send an email out on that, or did you?
I certainly can.
Could you?
I will. Sure. That's the end of your communications.
Oh, I see. There's a little thing in there. There's a little card. Yep.
Yeah, just need the address, because
That's all. Thank you. Moving on, minutes of our last meeting.
motion to approve. Second.
The motion is second. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Treasurer's report, Mary Jane?
Treasurer's report is as follows. The 421 TIF has a balance of $212,284. I'll draw your attention to an entry on the financial snapshot that says reserve for D&M contract. $310,000 of the 421 allocation area 1 TIF dollars is reserved for the payment on the D&M contract. So I subtracted that from that. You'll see that every month until we pay it out to show you your actual cash balance, which is $212,284. US 421 allocation area 2, your balance is $43,362. KIDC TIF, your balance is $41,431. 39 North TIF, the balance is $77,985 after you pay your claims today.
And these figures, all these figures are after today's claims?
That's correct.
Correct. All right. Is there a motion to approve the claims? I mean, the treasurer's report?
Move to approve.
They have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you. We'll move on to claims. KIDC, MCR Partners, April Professional Services in the amount of $3,000. Thomas and Associates, March Professional Services in the amount of $555.75. Friedman and Associates Legal Services for April in the amount of $1,500. The Herald Dispatch March legal publication in the amount of $25.18 for a total of $5,080.93.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion is second. Is there any other questions on those claims? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. 421 TIF number 1 is Thomas and Associates, March, $555.75. MCR Partners, April, Professional Services in the amount of $2,000. D&M Excavating, 421 Utility Project Contract Payment Bond Proceeds in the amount of $270,095.47. Phil and Karen Tomerin?
Tomerlin?
These
Yeah.
are, the following ones are all easements. In the amount of $1,200, Jack and Catherine Rhodes, in the amount of $1,200. Gerald Satorsky, in the amount of $900. Thomas Reiser, in the amount of $700. Gregory Paz, in the amount of $2,600. And then the one that we just added, the Timmons Surveying, in the amount of $1,500 for a total of $280,752. $751.22.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. 39 North, MCR Partners, April Professional Services, in amount of $1,000. That's it.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Old business, 421, I-94 TIP project, Matt Reardon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Mary Jane pointed out, we're trying to get our financial process in line so we have the funding available to take care of the contractor. So we requested the funding from the Michigan City Water Department, and I guess they're going to meet next Tuesday, so we should be able to get that across the board. And then we have the funding set aside that was kept for the project, as well as the ARP funding. So we're ready to go. Mr. Smith is here from our construction supervision firm. I don't know if he's got much of an update, but I guess they're going to get started tomorrow, which is good. I know that they ordered the pipe and we're getting ready to go. On another note, we had some communication with the good people of Loves. They're going to be expanding their footprint and their building, which means more investment, which means more return on investment for the TIF dollars, which is good. They're also there's going to be another development adjacent to it that will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 200,000 square feet of new warehouse distribution that's going to go there as well. So that's probably another $20 million deal that's going to go in there. They're working their way through the planning and building commission process to do that. All good stuff, all directly as a result of this group and the council and the commissioners' decision to fund the project. So that's where we're at. Do we have any, did I miss anything? We good? Okay. Midge? Yeah, let's.
The only thing I would add is, before you approved it already was 5 easements. There's
Yeah.
still, I believe, 5 still outstanding. I gave 2 additional ones to Mary Jane just today. So actually, there's 3 outstanding. So in May meeting, I hope to have the remaining 5.
Do we have an
taken care as well.
agreement with the other 3, or close to it?
Oh, yeah, real close.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, you should have all 5 next
Right.
meeting for approval.
Sounds good. And for the record, the
Speedway's out.
Speedway is completely out, so we're not extending down to them. They
No,
want nothing to do with that,
correct.
so
So I
saves
might-
us money.
I might point out that the residents that we're acquiring this easement from have been really good people to work with. They're not causing any problems. They had some genuine concerns about what was going to happen on their property. We tried to accommodate where and when we can. So unlike our KIP situation, where it was the opposite, we've had a lot of positive feedback from people,
Great.
which is nice.
Yeah, Matt, when will D&M actually start and where are they starting at?
Good. Shit, you're up.
State your name, sir.
Oh,
State your-
John Smith, USI Consultants. Their sub is going to start tomorrow. We're going to start doing the fusion for the 6-inch sewer, and then they're going to jack and bore that from pretty much 94, and then go up 300 to D&M driveway. And they figure that's going to be about a month of work. And then D&M's going to start the lift station, he said, next week or the week after. And the pipe is coming, he has all the sanitary pipes been delivered ahead of schedule, and anticipation of water main being delivered in July. He's hoping sooner, so that way there's no gap in work and everything get done before the snow flies.
So they're gonna start going underneath 94 pretty soon?
No, mid-May, be
Mid-May.
underneath 94, on my contact NDOT tomorrow, so they're aware.
So they're gonna start on the low end,
Yeah.
head up, right?
Yep,
And you've seen all the pipes and parts and pieces that we just okayed, this $275,000 bill, it's all there?
yeah,
True?
all in his yard.
Very good, thank you.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
Matt, I did have one other question.
Yes.
What happens down the road, 5 years down the road, when Speedway says, oh, you know what, now I would really like to be hooked up with you guys?
That'd be great, because then we could say, well, as luck would have it, why don't you pay us, and we'll be able to facilitate that for you. We'll put you in contact with Michigan City Water and Sanitary. And we'll have your people from New York corporate call us, and we'll get you set up,
Right.
take care of you.
For a nominal fee, we'll let you tie in.
For a nominal fee, yeah,
Right.
of a couple $100,000, you can time
I have no idea why they'd be so unrealistic, but,
it. All over $60,000.
and their system has failed out there, so.
Can't ever,
so,
we tried, Mitch tried to explain it to him.
I mean, I laid out right in front of them. They, new ownership. So their attorneys are involved are from Florida. Who know? I don't know how they run stuff. That's 7-Eleven, but Speedway was all for it at the time, and they actually gave us some funds when this process started. 7-Eleven, not so much. So
So you say they have a failing system or a ready-to-fail system?
it's
This-
well
there's second-
documented. It's in the health department office.
Their second system they put in?
Yeah, there's mountain.
Yeah.
And lead a horse to water.
I can't help them.
That makes sense.
Interesting.
No, wait, he tried. I mean, more than once. More than I was willing to try.
Right.
Yeah, so there'll be a pretty good sized savings as a result of that, which is good in case we have overruns or challenges in other
Right.
areas. That's always good. I mean, the money's gonna stay there, but if there's push and pull. Mr. Smith will have a written report for the next meeting once there wasn't really much to report other than,
Okay.
the contractor bought stuff, but they'll provide that.
Are we gonna get a sign out there that says what's going on out there?
We should do that. I gotta talk to the contractor about putting up a sign. We should probably
in
as
our-
a matter of course.
We should
do
probably put that in our documents.
Do that, and yeah, from now on, I mean, I think it makes sense. I know that whenever you're doing a HUD deal, those things end up in there and you get a
Right.
big sign. And everybody gets credit, but usually with the TIF deals, we don't do that, but we should do that. I'll talk to the contractor.
That way
We'll get
people
some-
kind of know what's going on.
I need some artwork from somebody, and I'll probably get it from Vivian, we'll make a sign.
Considering this has been years in the offing, and this board ought to be very satisfied with where you're at this point, it deserves a sign.
Get a sign up there.
With or without names?
Yes.
And we're not talking a 4x8 sheet of plywood with a can.
It's gonna be like one of
We're
those,
talking,
hey,
we're
it's gonna be
talking.
like one of those real estate signs you guys.
Legible, yeah.
This could be a big, well, I'll talk with the contractor
Okay.
and get that taken.
Pictures on Thursday?
Yeah. Next item is KIP update, Matt Reardon.
So the board probably recalls that we were on the Ready Grant list of awards. I've submitted the requisite information to the RDA to expedite the funding. So they have a grant agreement that they're gonna sign with the IEDC, and then the funds would cascade from there. The project fits narrowly into one of the ARP categories, because that's what this money really is. So, like the county has ARP money, well, this was the state's ARP money, and so they got to follow the same rules. And I communicated directly with JVC Rail and Ed Limborg regarding the bridge project. I said I need specs for the what's desired and what's most importantly acceptable to the Class 1 rail carriers that would be using it. And I've been assured that they have specs that are acceptable, that will be submitted to us, and unfortunately, or fortunately, we have to go through the federal procurement process and all the fun that comes with it. But that's why I'm here today, to ask for permission to work through that process with legal and to make sure that we've hit all the requirements in the federal code. I think it's like something.
I'll make a motion that we proceed with the KIP Ready Grant and allow Matt to proceed.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Is there any other questions on that or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Where are we at with are you done with that item?
Yes, sir.
Where are we at with the switch?
Still there, not on.
What are we waiting on? Just more?
CSX Railroad, that's what we're waiting on? Yes,
So they have to be the ones that
yes, not us.
throw the switch?
Yes,
But it's installed?
it is there on site. It is not installed. It is there physically.
So
They
what are
took
they,
it out.
what are they waiting on?
A customer or 2 or 10.
We've continued to have JBC Rail communicate with CSX in Florida in the hopes that we can finally get CSX to literally pull the switch.
Yeah.
We've been through different management at CSX, and we're hopeful, and in fact, we've even made a request to some contacts at the U.S. Department of Transportation to try to convey support in the hopes that we can prompt CSX to go ahead and install the switch. So we're doing what we can through the elected officials and others, but CSX has got to do it. Same thing with CN, obviously, with
I mean,
the
they installed it once when they wanted to use the.
But wasn't that just a temporary switch so they could gain access to our property to store things?
Or is it the same switch?
Fix the railroad? I don't think it's the same switch.
I don't know for sure what they have piled up out
Need
there.
check.
It's usable.
I think you're right, Mr. Gore,
Yeah.
that it was a temporary installment, remember, when they were doing some maintenance, but
Right.
we've got to have the permanent switch installed, and we've got to have top brass at CSX. Fortunately, Jim Carroll's had extensive, long-term relationships with CSX management in Jacksonville, and we're still hoping that he can get them literally to go ahead and make the connection.
My gut feeling when it comes to rail cars, temporary switches look a lot like permanent switches.
Probably. So
I really think this problem will go away once the bridge is put in and CN crosses under that park, then you're gonna get a switch.
If I could take
It's
a minute,
coming.
if I could take a minute to update the board on, so the other part of the Ready Grant project was that JBC Rail was gonna pay for the trackage about 1,000 feet to the bridge on their side, and Limborg was paying to get it to the bridge on his side. And with that being said, I don't know if we need formal action to go through I'm gonna turn it over to Shaw with regard to the easement and the documents and the loan and the whole thing that worked out. So at the end of the day, we paid $67,000 and change for the easement. The property owner fought tooth and nail, running up legal bills, and we're done. And there's a new buyer of her property and a taxpayer and going to be an investor, and we're happy to see that. We've had discussions with them. They're going to close next week. They're doing a like-kind exchange, not that anybody cares, but they're buying her out, gone, easement's ours. We had an agreement to make sure they had the same questions. Will we have access? The answer is, of course, yes.
And that money's been sitting in the courts
Money's
for-
been sent.
Yes.
Since last year.
And the board will recall that the Rinkers wanted more than what was in there. That was the whole source of the confrontation for months. We've said no. The direction from this board was do not pay a penny more than what is the appraised value that's sitting in trust, and I'm pleased to report that we're done. We're not going to pay a penny more than the amount that was appraised and that is currently sitting in trust, has been for months. What we're looking for today, because we've had multiple discussions, not only with the Ranker's attorney, but the prospective buyer's attorney, on a form of agreement for both the escrow in terms of relief of escrow, the railroad right-of-way easement agreement. We've gone through about 15 different drafts on that. But we're looking for formal authority by the commission today to approve the escrow agreement and the motion to dismiss the litigation with prejudice, which means it's done. But at this point, we're looking for that authority so that we could have your president sign the documents and they're available for closing, which,
Yep.
as Matt indicates, is going to happen within a
I've seen
matter
a
of
copy of them today. I think they came out today.
Great.
So, yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve the escrow account and move this forward, and that's good news that this is behind us. It's been
And also-
going on for a long time.
Then also terminate the litigation.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right.
That part of your-
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other questions or comments? It'd be nice to have this behind us.
Oh, boy.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. So obviously, they're not gonna start laying track up to the bridge until we get something firm on the bridge.
I would think so.
Right,
I guess.
but they're ready.
Yes, they are. I've seen the design from the Via Rail, and they understand that that's on their dime. They also understand that the improvements they build on our easement are ours, not theirs. All that's been clarified. So when they're ready to move forward with their investment, we'll give them a right of entry to get on, to get on there and build it. And Ed and Jim have been coordinating, their own activities behind closed doors. But once that happens, the access to CN is actually there. So there's no debate about a switch or putting in a switch. There is one. Ed Limborg already paid for it.
Great.
So that's where we're at.
Thank you. Let's move on to the 39 North. Matt?
I haven't heard any news back on the EDA grant, so I can tell you from the economic development perspective in Leeds, we show those sites often, the property owned by Anacostia and the property to the south, that are, that's like 2 10-acre parcels in Anacostia. I understand that they have an offer and it's been accepted and they're working through paperwork. It's a sizable manufacturer. They haven't asked us for anything yet, but they're working through the real estate transaction, which, tells me that somebody, was willing to probably invest, let's see, $3-4 million on that parcel. So that's good news.
Good.
As far as the water situation, we're still trying to shake loose the grant, and it needs to be done. I don't think anybody disputes that.
No news on that?
No, I don't have any. Mary Jane, do you have any updates, or Shaw, do you have any updates? Where that may be?
I was contacted by Mary Jane, and the suggestion was made in terms of using a federal lobbyist to assist in the process. The 39 North Conservancy District Board, very thankful for the efforts of this body to have retained Mary Jane and to work with Matt on the application. EDA applications are highly competitive. The 39 North Conservancy District Board will be taking up the issue of engaging a federal lobbyist because in terms of getting it over the goal line, sometimes it's those who are the loudest and have a presence in DC with these agencies that hopefully can help get that grant over the end. So Conservancy District Board, I expect, will be taking up a proposal to engage federal lobbyists at their first of May meeting.
Great, thank you. Moving on to 35/94 TIF, Matt Reardon.
I'm going to ask that you hold on that. We're going to have a public hearing, and Phil's on the line to talk about the legal ramifications and process, and Carl's here.
So we're gonna bring that up under new business?
Yeah, we'll do it under new business. And
All right. So that's it on the old business?
Yep. Mitch?
Move on to new business, consideration of USI 4.
Yeah, we have well,
421 construction
2194.
project.
Yeah, USI submitted a contract for construction supervision. I might add that it's well below the normal percentages that are usually affixed to project of this size. So we appreciate that and their consideration. They also said that they would. We explained the financial situation of the district because we had to outlay that much cash, so they're going to wait to submit billing until the July funding of the RDC. So they're going to hold off. They're going to do the work, obviously, but they're going to hold off, which is great.
So you want us to
appreciate
approve it, but we don't have it?
that. You should approve the contract. You have
We have
money
it. We
to
have the
approve it.
contract.
I'm saying that they're not going to request
It
payment
was in
until
the email,
July.
it's not,
You don't have the contract in front of you?
no.
I give it to Mary Jane, okay.
Yeah, you got one, Randy?
No.
I got one.
I have it on the, I have it
Read
on
mine.
my phone.
Get y'all Keisha.
I got it at home. I didn't bring it up
I have it, I printed
yet. I
it.
have it.
Price it keeps going.
You wanna look at it?
Yeah, this is page 6.
I got the signature.
All right, we're good. So you can have this back, I got this one. All right. So this was emailed to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Did you see it?
I did receive that earlier this week in an email.
Right. I've got it at home, I just didn't have it in my package. So what's everybody's pleasure?
I'll make a motion, we accept the contract. I don't think we could be in a better position to have Mitch be the consultant and oversee this particular project because of his involvement from day one. He knows all the easements, he knows the contractor, he knows what we're trying to do and what we're putting in, so I'll make a motion, we accept this contract and move forward.
I'll second, and I just want us to state for the record that
Sure.
the amount was 125, I think I heard. I don't remember reading it exactly, but
Right.
the amount's 125,
Not to exceed, yeah.
not to exceed 125. Thank you.
One thing I'd like to add is, by the end of the day on Mondays, our company, I will send out a progress report with pictures of the project, and I'll email everybody on the commission. That way it makes you feel like you're on the job. So,
Yeah.
I'll give budget updates and everything on there. Then every month I'll come in and give a breakdown of everything that was done for that month prior.
Right.
And like Matt said, it's a real good price. I deal a lot with federal funds, and I hire a lot of construction inspection and a lot of contracts with construction inspection. And usually those are 12.5% of your contract amount, and it's 2.4%. So
Run out of money, we come to your bank account.
good deal.
Take the vote before it changes.
All those in favor say aye. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? I'm passing this down for everybody to sign, so when you get done with it, send it back just like that. This is the top that goes on there. All right, next one is public hearing for I-94 US 35 TIF District Confirmatory Resolution. Carl Sender, Dalton, Phil, say the last name.
Facenda.
Facenda?
Facenda. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the final step in creating the tax increment finance area at 35 and 94. We had a great deal of discussion about this, went through the plan commission process and so on. It's in compliance with the county's master plan. This is the final step before we would get to any potential bond financing and so on. This wouldn't be exclusive to the project that we had talked about previous. This is for anybody within the district. This will also help us move along with our deliberations and discussions with Michigan City Water and Sanitary about their ideas of moving and being able to serve more properties, activating more of them, and serving more customers. I'll turn it over to Phil Facenda to run through the process, and Carl's here to go through the tax impact analysis for the body. So
Sounds great.
I'll have a seat.
Thank you, Matt. Redevelopment Commissioners, Phil Facenda from Bars and Thorburg. Just a little bit of the background, the history of this. You might recall that in October of last year, you adopted the declaratory resolution on the new I-94 US 35 Economic Development Area, which is also declared as a TIF area, or what's referred to in the law as an allocation area. The process, as those who have been on the RDC for a little while will recall, is a multi-step process under the statute, and we had a little bit of, as far as the process goes, it goes from the Redevelopment Commission and their declaratory resolution to the Plan Commission for approval, and from the Plan Commission to the Board of Commissioners, and from the Board of Commissioners, after the Board of Commissioners, and then you provide a public notice, a newspaper notice of a public hearing, and back to the RDC to confirm the action. Sorry, it took a little bit longer than we expected. The Plan Commission had an issue with regard to the majority being present to vote, and so we had to go back to them, and it slowed us down a little bit. But the Plan Commission did adopt an approving resolution on February 22nd of this year. The Board of Commissioners then took action to approve on March 16th of this year, and a newspaper notice was provided on April 15th, and that is in your materials. Attorney Shaw Friedman also has a copy of the proof from the Herald Dispatch. A tax impact statement was prepared by Sender and provided to the overlapping taxing units. And Carl Sender's in attendance to speak to the tax impact if there are questions on it. The determination basically under the tax impact is that, but for the new development, there is no impact because, or the impact is minimal, because if it wasn't for the declaration of the area as a TIF area, there wouldn't be additional taxes generated. So again, if there are questions on that, Carl Sender can answer them. And as I mentioned, the last step is today's resolution of the Redevelopment Commission after opening up a public hearing and allowing members of the public to speak to this. And that is simply confirming your prior action where you adopted the action declaring the area and adopting a extensive economic development plan that lays out various planned public improvements and private sector development for the area. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them, or as I mentioned on the tax impact, Carl can speak to that.
Any questions?
I do. And Carl, I'm going to ask you to please come up and join us. The question that I have is, we talk about tax impact. So how much money are we expecting to start collecting in this area to be funding this TIF?
So the tax impact is actually projecting what the new improvements, assessed value improvements, and we projected conservatively $8.2 million in new assessed value if this project goes in there. The tax impact just really shows what is the impact, to the overlapping units if we had not done this, as well as to their cumulative funds. So at this point, we're not really showing how much tax dollars we would be collecting.
Because there's no improvement yet,
Right.
But
Correct.
I just wanted to make sure that we are discussing that it's an 8.2 million of new value going into the area that probably would not have happened without creating a TIF.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Definitely. Anybody other questions for Carl?
I think we need a motion to have a
We
public
need to
hearing.
open a public, well, you want to have a, we need a motion for a public hearing, or we just open it?
Just open it up.
Just open? Okay.
Public hearing is now open. Anybody from the public, didn't mean to startle you. I'm just kidding. Woke everybody up by hitting the gavel. Public hearing is now open. Does anybody from the public like to speak? Anybody on Zoom that would like to speak? Anybody from the public? Anybody from the public? Public hearing is now closed. So we'll move on to the next item, which is C, which is consider the confirmatory resolution.
Yes.
Correct?
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the adoption of the confirmatory resolution for the I-94 US 35 TIF district. Is there any other questions or comments from anybody? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Well, thanks,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. So we'll file the
Thank you.
appropriate paperwork with the auditor's office to make sure the area's been established, to set the base year, make sure that the taxes being paid today go to the taxing districts they're supposed to go to, and that allows us to track what Carl was projecting, new investment and growth. I think the next step we're at is we're going to get into a little more discussion about the development at that particular site. I know there's some extraordinary costs that have come up regarding that location, having to do with wetlands and adjacency to the highway, and people at the federal government and a few other agencies that we need to deal with, but we're going to be dealing with them. We're going to try and get this sorted out within the next 2 to 3 months. We're going to be speaking with Senator Bohacek and Representative Pressel on those matters. It's a wetland issue that we quite simply disagree with, and we need to kick this upstairs. I mean,
Right.
I just you know, I don't think it's a correct way to go about it. In the meantime, there's some workaround for the developer to do. There's developable property within the 10 acres that can be built on. In speaking with the contractor, they indicated that it's likely that the investor developer would want to move forward with that, concurrent with the efforts to do some we're either going to do wetland mitigation or something. And if we do, then the landowner will have to act accordingly in accordance with the federal law. Unfortunately, this did not fall under the state of Indiana's new law related to wetlands, which we were hopeful was going to, but it did not. So that's the status of that. In the meantime, if there's anybody out there that has an interest in doing development, know this, that in the plan document, we talked about the extension of water and sewer from Michigan City to this area to allow you to build on the areas to have a little more density and to be able to flush your toilets and drink out of a faucet at the same time, all being right next to an interchange. So, that's the hope, just like at 421, similar process, similar project. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we don't take 10 years to get the utility money together.
Definitely. Thank you. And thank you, Phil. Is there anything else we needed?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is the item that we added is the Rinkers KIP settlement. Did we already?
We didn't discuss it.
We already did.
Yes, you have.
Already did it, right?
Nothing to be signed, that he'll sign when it's appropriate.
That's right.
All right. Any other business?
I just might like to make a comment, Matt. You mentioned the ready grants in the forum. I sat on a forum board, and they have appointed a exec group, a board group, to take care of just the grant funds over and above the Northwest Indiana Forum Board. It is much more difficult, I think, than what everybody thought. So it's not like you're just going to hand you $1 million tomorrow. There's a process, and it's pretty involved. So they have done that, and that's probably a good thing to keep it out of the mix with the Northwest Indiana Forum issues. So I just want everybody to know that. So
Great. Thank you. Any other business? Any other business?
Motion to adjourn.
Mary Jane's looking like
Members of the
Second.
commission, could you stay all together afterwards? There are resolutions that require all your signatures, please.
you got it.
Thank
Great.
you.
Motion to adjourn?
So move.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.